I don't remove comments anymore unless they're vulgar, even if they're very derogatory towards me, because my ego is enormous, and that is my greatest vice, and that is a check to my ego. I let it stand because a lot of times in those comments there's a ring of truth in them, and if you find yourself, your gut reaction is immediately like, I'm going to ban this person and he's out of here and I'm closing that off. That's an admission that hurts you, or that affected you in a way, or that just maybe cut a little bit too close to the heart. If you're struggling with pride, the worst thing you can do is to take that mentality. I understand that now. You need to leave it up there. You need to let it go and let it ride and reflect upon that. Is there merit behind it? Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But just to take time to consider it, but to leave it up there. And then you also take away the ammunition of the hater, because there's nothing that gives a hater more fuel to a fire than to think that, oh, I'm being suppressed. You're taking away my freedom of speech, and then you have an enemy. Man, there's probably some truth in there. He probably has a point. Also, it's easy to get the wrong impression. It's hard to communicate emotion across this media, across text, and something you may perceive it to be meant a certain way that it was not. There's a biblical story that's so good that really speaks to this. King David, one of his sons rose up and challenged his throne. And he could have decided to fight his son and to reclaim his kingdom or reestablish his reign. But he knew that there would be bloodshed, and he knew that it was most likely the case that his son Absalom would have been killed in the putting down of the rebellion. He made the decision to walk away, to abdicate his throne. And which was very dangerous, because in those days, that would have been a great threat to Absalom, and he would have moved heaven and earth to tamp out any heirs or his father himself, because that was a threat to his kingdom. King David showed incredible strength of character. As he was leaving, there was a man, I think his name was Shimei, or something similar to that. And as David, with his profession and his wives and his family, as they were leaving Jerusalem, or the city of David, whatever it was, I think it was Jerusalem, there was this man was reviling him and cursing at him and throwing rocks and just mocking the king. Something that would have just been unthinkable when he was in his power. In the back in the day, if someone would have done that to King David, one of King David's mighty men would have went over there and whoosh, his head would have been off, right? Well, one of his soldiers, seeing this guy reviling the king and throwing rocks and making the scene, said, hey, I'll go up there and sort that out right now. David said, no, just leave him alone. Let him do it. Who knows that God might show some favor upon me for this reviling that I'm taking. Maybe I brought it upon myself. It's a very mature way to look at life that way. And that's the way I look at from now on, with comments and haters like that. It is, I'm not above reproach. And knowing that pride is a problem, arrogance is a problem, that is a check to that God has put there. And who am I to take it upon my hands to put it down? So is it delight? Do I enjoy it? No one likes it, but I'm not above reproach. Let's get that clear. And none of us are. And sometimes we need that. The servant is not greater than his master. And we need it when we're grown up. We realize that they hated Jesus. They reviled him. They threw stones at him, and they murdered him. How could we expect anything less? And so, as Paul says, when I'm reviled and I'm hated and stones are cast at me, I count it as benefit, that I am worthy to receive rebuke for the gospel's sake. That that is something, I'm doing what my Lord did. And when you see it in that context, you realize that it couldn't be any other way, and it's necessity for character building. If we get to the point where we believe we're beyond reproach, then that's the point where we're truly lost.